Hey, it's Alan. We're hanging out with Jeremy. And Jeremy, I decided to come help you. We're going to tear this window out. We're going to do this all by ourselves, right?
Well, get your gloves on. I don't see any gloves on you.
Actually, your workers are doing this. What's going on?
Well, we'll leave it to the more qualified guys to do this stuff. So right now, they are in the process of removing the old window. These windows were original to the home. I imagine the home was built in the late 70s, early 80s. This is an aluminum window that we're pulling out. Sometimes they come out easy, sometimes hard. We got lucky today because these are just pulling right out, primarily because they didn't use a lot of fasteners to hold them in. So, yeah, they weren't.
So from the get-go, they really weren't put in with a lot of energy efficiency in mind. They're just putting in an aluminum window, just like every other aluminum window from the 70s and the early part of the 80s as well.
Right.
What amazes me is, with care and not breaking the window, these two guys are going to remove this window within a matter of a couple of minutes. It would literally take me an hour, and I would break the window too. I know me.
Yeah, I had a habit of breaking windows myself when I did this. So, but no, they've done so many installations. They've seen about every kind of window there was ever made, known to man, and so they know how each one comes apart, which makes life a lot easier for them, a lot quicker. So you don't have to break the glass. Typically, back in my day, we throw a hammer through that thing, crack it out. Yeah. They figure out how to dissect the old window and makes it a lot easier. So, and you'll see when we get this out that there's very little fasteners on the nail flange.
Yep.
So what he's doing, he's collapsing the window away from the brick. So we don't have to pull the brick. A lot of people think that you got to pull the brick off to get to the old window.
Yep.
No. Yeah, he's just going to pry that thing out of there.
Jeremy, obviously, we're here to talk about progressive windows and selling progressive people to progressive, but if I'm a DIYer. I do a lot of things myself. But this stuff, I'm sorry, this is not meant for the DIYer. There's so many things.
They're doing this. We're seeing where people have failed and we've had to help them out.
Because it's catastrophic. Yeah. When you mess with the exterior, it's one thing to take out a drywall in your house, but you start messing with the exterior of your home, you instantly have opened up an avenue for moisture, for critters, for air, and it ends up becoming a huge enemy for your home. And so I would encourage people to contact you for multiple reasons. Mostly the expediency of it here. I'm telling you, in this conversation, we're going to have this window removed, and they'll probably have the new one put in place before we're done talking. What's your timeline on these as far as is there a wait time?
Right now, we're down to about 10 weeks or so.
Okay.
Last year we were running around 18 weeks. It was really tough getting in material, and so material's flowing a lot better now, and we're getting caught up finally. So,
what do they need to do? Call you, contact you. What's the deal?
Just give us a call, or you can visit our webpage. You can find us on Facebook, of course. Call us at 227-9915. We're out of Fairview. If you don't know, we've been doing this for over 23 years now. So,
if they were to get in here and find some damage, what would happen at this point if the boards were, say, rotted or had termites, stuff like that? Would you guys replace it at that point?
We would want to replace it, yes. So some of the stuff we can replace on ourselves. Sometimes we got to get a contractor involved because it goes in deep. It's the studs and all that. We don't want to mess with that because we're not, as you were saying, you're not qualified. We're not qualified to do that.
Sure.
Because that's a lot more than just pulling out an existing window and reinstalling it.
Kenny King says hi, Jeremy.
Well, hi, Kenny King. He's not far. We did him, I don't remember, a couple years ago. So, well, thank you, Kenny.
And you're talking about the damage. Your pre-inspection, when guys come out and look at it at the beginning, they can pretty much tell if there's been termite damage. If you know what you're looking for, you're going to see stuff like that. So you probably knew before you got into it that there's a good chance this was going to be an okay situation.
Yeah, what we do is we sound the walls and stuff before when we're measuring. You can't always find everything. You can see this is all hidden. We wouldn't have seen it until we pulled it out. You can tell if you got leakage problems. Most of the time, just looking at the sheetrock and then underneath at the base.
We did a house with you a few years ago at Quail Meadows.
Yeah.
Not Quail Meadows, at the Pheasant Run.
It was Pheasant Run, yeah.
And it's raining as we're speaking, by the way, Haley's running the video. But they opened up the sill at the top of it. It was like literally the front picture window, and water started pouring out from the top of the window. It was in the wall.
It was trapped in there. I mean, there was moss and mold growing in there.
It was nasty.
It was.
Yeah.
But we do see that quite a bit. You think those higher end homes wouldn't have that stuff. But
Yeah.
They do. They have their problems too.
Some of the houses, even though they're brand new and they spend it or they charge $1 million for them, doesn't necessarily mean that they were done completely not on the cheap. I want to look at this window right here.
So this is the one we pulled out. So you can see they put no silicone behind the back,
right,
on the nail fin. So when they installed it, there was nothing sealing the back, and they didn't even use a flashing tape over the top of the nail fin. So dirt, you can see the dirt and stuff in there. That means air was getting in there. This is on the inside. This is the outside. So this is in your wall. You can see where dirt had been getting in there, and air and dirt and all kinds of fun stuff.
It may not seem like a big deal when it's 80 degrees outside, but when it's 30 degrees below zero or it's 120 outside, those little leaks matter a bunch.
Well, you know, Oklahoma, the wind kind of likes to blow sometimes. So that's,
so what would we have done? Heaven forbid they had mismeasured this window. Boy, this would be embarrassing.
Yeah,
but they didn't, because it's dead on.
It's dead on. It's perfect.
Fitting like a glove.
Yeah. So what we do when we get here, the installers, I say we, the installers, they're the ones that make us look good.
Yeah.
They'll actually pre-measure before they tear it out, right? To make sure that it's going to fit. Because it does happen. It's manufacturing. Humans are involved, so humans make human mistakes. Occasionally you do have one that was mismeasured or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but we normally we get a pretty quick turnaround on that and get that fixed up or rectified. But we were just talking about that a little bit ago, and he said it hadn't happened in over 3 years. So.
Yeah. The guys said that they've been measuring them dead on for a while. And I'm telling you, Jeremy, the idea of putting a pry bar in a brand new window freaks me out. I'm just telling you.
All right.
I told you we were still live.
What did we miss, guys?
Probably didn't miss anything. Kaylee's phone started overheating out here in the nice cloudy day. I don't know.
Weird that my silicone phone case would make my phone
Imagine
overheat.
that. Yeah.
How strange.
Complimented your cowgirl boot.
My cowgirl boot.
So they're trying to button up the shimming and then getting the final screws in.
Now, what's going to make this window different from the window they pulled out?
Oh, lots of things. So the window they pulled out, it was double pane, which is an advantage. Most of the time you don't even see that in these older houses. But ours will have the 3-coat low E, the low E 366. So it's going to be a lot better protection from the UV rays from the sun. And then, of course, our double pane thickness is just a little bit thicker than the one we pulled out, so you won't have near as much conductive energy transfer from the heat or the cold. And then, of course, tight sealing, and then the way we put ours in and then seal it off, we'll shoot foam insulation around the sides of it, and it'll seal off the gap between the brick and the interior wall, and then that gap between the window and all that. So it'll be a really nice tight fit. Most people don't realize that air will travel down. There's a gap between your brick and your stud wall. They have to do that so they can get the brick even. And there's an air pocket in there. So if you don't seal that air pocket off, you'll still get cold air instead of getting the jam in the windows.
Ta-da!
So now this window's not done yet for you
It's
guys.
not quite. He'll make sure everything works on it, and then he's gonna put all his trims on the inside back
Well,
on.
look at that
Notice
fancy
that,
little
if
window.
you want to clean your windows, what's that called?
That's a tilt sash.
A tilt
I
set.
like
Tilt
that.
sash window. So this is a single hung, only the bottom tilts.
Right.
Double hung, you get where the top and bottom both raise up and down, and they'll both tilt in, so you can easily clean it just like that.
Imagine what that would be like on, say, the second story of a 2-story house.
Well, that's where
Yeah.
they're really
Rather than
beneficial.
climbing outside and
Trying to do it from a
trying to
ladder.
kill yourself. Yeah.
Or doing what I do and just not cleaning the outside of the window.
Yeah.
Still live on Facebook.
Yep.
Still live on the radio. In a second.
So long as my phone stays
Yep.
cool-headed.
Yeah, cool-headed. So there goes on some of the trim pieces. And those cover up all the screws that we put in there, so you won't see any of the screws.
My Country 103.1 KOFM, it's Alan.
I wonder if he gets the distinct impression he's being watched.
He might.
Yeah.
He might.
Since the last break, literally, the crew came in and took an old window out.
That's just
and it sold a brand new window on the side of the garage. And Jeremy, tell me how this process works. I mean, from start to finish, within a minute and a half, how building window works.
Well, it sounds easy, but it's kind of complicated at times. You got to have the right machinery, the right guys doing the work. So we get all our raw material in from different companies. Some of them come from all over the United States. We can get some of our hardware out of Germany because they don't make the hardware that we use, some of it here in the States. So we bring all that in, and you have us come out. You decide you want to order some windows. We take it back to the shop and start ordering everything to size. We cut it all anyways to size and start producing the windows. So it probably takes a couple hours to produce one window.
Okay.
Yeah. So
A lot of people don't realize when we say Progressive Windows of Fairview, we mean Progressive Windows in Fairview, Oklahoma. It's not really in Fairview. Let's be completely transparent. Just a little ways south of Fairview out in the country.
We're at the old Progressive School site, if you ever knew where that was.
Yep.
A lot of people around here remember the old Progressive School. We're on the same slab that they used to play basketball on that gym.
It's very cool. It's locally owned and operated. It employs local people. If you want to get a great product and you know where the people are, if you never know if you order some online thing, they're coming from some other country, some other place. Keep it local. You're helping the economy. You're getting a better product, and you're getting Jeremy. We can say, Jeremy, I had an issue. Can you come look at it? And you're going to be coming out there. Not that happens very often.
It doesn't, but we do come out.
Yeah.
We take care of our own stuff. You don't have to worry about, well, the contractor said it's the Windows guy's fault, and the window guy said no. The guy installed them. You're dealing with one company throughout.
Progressive Windows of Fairview. And that's what happens when you run out of time on the radio.
So we've got it put in.
Yep, you got to put in.
We got the old window hauled off.
Yep.
So the last step is going to be when they come in and put the insulation in.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're going to put the foam insulation in. They'll have to let it set for a little bit so it'll cure, and then they'll push it back, whatever squeezes out, because we put extra in. There's somebody waving at you.
Yeah. So you guys did a couple more windows back here. Can we go back and
You
look
bet,
at the
you bet.
insulation on those?
Yeah. I think they beat us. Here's one right here.
Now.
Yeah, you can see the foam insulation in there. It is now cured enough that they'll come back and make sure it won't be in the way of anything when they put their trim on.
Okay.
So they'll just push all that back in there just far enough, and then we have a trim that'll snap in that groove to cover up that gap, and then we seal from that trim to the brick surround.
And that other window has the trim on it already. Let's go look at that
So
one.
it's not caulked yet, so it's not going to be the prettiest thing you've seen. So yeah, so there's a trim that snaps in. And it's uneven a little bit because the brick, how the brick contours sometimes to get it in. So they got to cut around it, and then he'll come back. I think he's fixing to do that, or about to do that. He'll come back and run his bead of sealing all the way around.
Well, we can hang out just long enough to watch him do that, for sure. So, you're doing how many windows today? 4?
5. We did
Five.
5.
Six.
Oh,
Six.
Excuse me, 6. Zane knows it all. He's my head guy over here, so he's been doing this for quite a while and does a really good job. You wouldn't think he was a kid. You don't see that in kids very often, but this guy's a worker. All your guys work really good, don't they?
Yeah, they work really good. There can be times.
I don't know. When I say kids, I'm thinking 25 years old. I'm pretty old.
Man, I barely am just not a kid
You're
then.
not a kid no more.
Not anymore. That's good.
Alan's not a kid.
Well, on the outside.
Yeah.
How-
Is it thundering?
Yeah, it's drizzling up there.
Yeah.
I know this insulation has gone pretty quickly because these
It
windows
has.
just popped right out.
Yep.
How long does it usually take?
Usually takes about an hour per window, 45 minutes to an hour per window. There's so many things that go into play when we're talking time on the window. It's from the tear out to the size of the window to how square the openings were. I think your openings were pretty square today.
Yeah, they were relatively.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. To what it takes to caulk it in, you see how he's got to go through the holes in the brick or the gaps in the brick, mortar gaps and stuff. Sometimes it's rock, And it might take 30 minutes just to caulk in a window if it's got rock surround on it. So, yeah, but this one's going really quick, this whole job now.
And it looks like you guys really take the time to make sure that everything is done correctly.
It doesn't look like we're taking time because how fast it's going,
Well,
but we are. Yes, we are.
I'm not being facetious. I
know,
really meant
I
it.
know. It's just kind of funny that this job is just going so smooth.
It's good. It shows the expertise.
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy. Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it.
What's your phone number if I want windows?
580-227-9915. Progressive Windows and Doors of Fairview.